What if I told you that the largest betrayal in hip-hop history actually happened in a hotel room that no one was supposed to know about, instead of a studio? Because just when you thought the story of Remy Ma, Papoose, and Fat Joe couldn't get any messier, a leaked video from a long-forgotten Miami hotel appeared, and things don't look good for Remy. We're talking about dimly lit hallway cameras, two familiar faces slinking past the lobby at 2:17 in the morning, and a check-in receipt signed by Remy Ma and bearing the name Joseph Cartagena, also known as Fat Joe. Is this a coincidence, or is the passion for fair hip-hop concealed beneath gold chains and Grammys? The real twist is as follows. The video was supplied by Papoose himself, not a hacker. According to speculations, he found it on an iPad while clearing out old emails. Remy maintained that it was only for musical reasons. How long was this affair? Was it before or throughout the wedding? And why hasn't anyone brought it up until this point? Hold on tight, because what we're about to disclose could change your understanding of the Terror Squad's past forever. Let's go back in time to the real story, not the glamorous Grammy speeches or the Instagram birthday tributes. The details that were omitted from the interviews and the details they didn't want us to piece together. We all know about Remy Ma and Fat Joe's lengthy history, which includes street fights in the Bronx and Terror Squad basement sessions. They were against the industry's portrayal of them as brother and sister, but in actuality, a source close to the crew says that this sibling bond was always just a publicity gimmick. Keep in mind that Big Pun died in 2000. Fat Joe arrived like a knight in oversized denim, offering protection for studio access and reportedly something much more personal. According to reports, Remy Ma wasn't just any rapper rising through the ranks. She was Big Pun's protege, handpicked and blessed by an old security guard who worked backstage. He claims that Joan never left her side during their first genuine spark, which happened at Summer Jam 2002. Based on his behavior, I assumed they were married. But here's the truth. When Lean Back hit the charts in 2004, the industry went crazy. But there was tension behind that hit song. Not only creative tension, but also jealousy, secrecy, and late-night studio sessions that never ended with just music off the mic. According to multiple TS Terror Squad insiders, Remy and Joe had an undeniable chemistry. According to an anonymous engineer, on some nights, they would enter the booth and come out holding hands as if we had witnessed it. But they would always close it down if someone brought up the subject, and no one could express their thoughts. This is because, until things changed, Remy remained a faithful ride or die, and Fat Joe was in charge in 2007. The media did not report that Fat Joe was discreetly visiting Remy Ma outside the courtroom while the cameras were trained on practice. Visits based on Rikers Island visitor logs that were leaked, even though Papoose supported her. Remy Ma was arrested and given an 8-year prison sentence, as everyone had expected. Yes, we were able to obtain those no pictures or statements between 2008 and 2009. Joseph Cartagena used coded aliases to sign in 5 times, and the dates match important occasions in Remy's life, especially the one right before her transfer to Bedford Hills Correctional. As per a former prison staffer, Joe was calm but focused, as if he had something important to discuss. Every visit seemed emotional, so the question now becomes, was there something happening in that prison that even Papoose was unaware of, given that she, when asked in a post-release interview who she missed the most while incarcerated, Remy herself aired by responding, "Some people surprised me with how much they cared." She was publicly writing letters and giving interviews that promoted her name like a badge of honor. But if the jail logs are genuine, as we have seen, then Fat Joe was the one making those discreet off-the-record visits. Years later, while cleaning the house in the spring, Papoose discovers an old iPad, the same one Remy used to write lyrics and journal her thoughts in her early parole days, but it turns out that one file, 7th Floor, was never erased chapter. That's all, no names, just that look, and the host dared not question her further. According to an anonymous tech expert who looked at the information just for them, the footage, which was captured from a hotel hallway camera, shows Fat Joe entering first, followed seconds later by Remy Ma. Miami timestamp location, Fontainebleau Hotel, Miami Beach. April 3, 2011. No stylists, makeup artists, or entourage were present, and according to the leak, they didn't go back outside until the following morning. According to someone close to Papoose, he was visibly shaken after reading the file, and it's clear that he hasn't yet confronted Remy. Instead, he contacted a single person he thought could give him accurate information. We'll reveal this person's name in the section that follows because, trust me, this rabbit hole is just beginning. And what we're going to discover next could completely blow your assumptions about Remy Ma and Fat Joe. The heir allegedly left the room when Papoose saw that Miami clip from the 7th floor. The man who had kept Remy Ma in check during her trial, incarceration, and public humiliation was now watching video of her entering a hotel suite behind Fat Joe. That is betrayal-wrapped insolence, not just heartbreak. Did he blow up though? No. Papoose doesn't doth it. He doesn't start by throwing Hishans. Instead, he throws bars, listens, asks questions, and then moves purposefully, which is exactly what headed. According to sources, he initially didn't even bring up the video with Remy. Instead, he began discreetly calling former staff members, including tour managers, studio engineers, and personal assistants. After that, he called Remy Ma's former stylist, who reportedly left the camp in 2012 for unknown reasons. The one person who supported both Fat Joe and Remy Ma during those pivotal Terror Squad years, and is no stranger to stirring things up. We won't reveal her name just to be safe, but what did she say? She really did sing like a bird, according to someone who overheard the conversation. She told Papoose that Joe was obsessed with music, was never the only thing. I could see how protective he became by the way he looked at her. If she wasn't present, he used to call off sessions. She restored his sense of relevance. She even asserted that there were rumors of a 2006 situation in Puerto Rico, where the crew had flown out for a performance long after the other members of the team had returned to the hotel. Remy and Joe were allegedly spotted on a private yacht. The twist is that Fat Joe didn't even recoil when Papoose confronted him in private. Yes, that did happen, or deny knowing about the hotel. It isn't what you think, Pap, but you don't want to go down that road, was all he said. I apologize, but that would be equivalent to saying, yeah, I buried the body, but trust me, he had it coming. That being said, what does Papoose do next? According to insiders, he enters into detective mode and searches through old emails, direct messages, and even burner accounts. He comes upon a horrifying email from 2011 that states, Miami was different. It was also forwarded to a private "We can't keep pretending that this never happened, Jay. You know I do everything for you, but Joe isn't signed. Only Jay isn't signed, obese." Gmail account using Remy's username from back then, although Joe maintains that it isn't him. The streets and blogs start to speak up because you know that when the rumors from the Bronx start to spread, the truth isn't far behind a blind item about a platinum rare. However, you know what? The metadata in the email header points to a Bronx IP address associated with a Terror Squad leased office studio entertainment. When rumors about the video appeared on Twitter due to a since deleted tweet from someone claiming to be in the circle of fans, oh, they didn't stay silent. Trending hashtags included Joe and Remy and Pape serves us better. The rapper from New York City, whose unwavering devotion was tested by a queen with too many kings, was even released by an underground podcast. Who could that be, I wonder? In spite of fan forums speculating that Papoose had left their shared residence, spoiler alert, he hadn't. He continued to post studio clips and selfies while staying silent on public motivational sayings like, "They a realist and Fat Joe, not a peep, not even a cryptic egg live." Reddit was flooded with screenshots, and insiders claimed that Papoose temporarily moved into the guest house to reflect. An old Terror Squad DVD interview from 2005 was found by a fan and shows Joe and Remy sitting together during a behind-the-scenes segment with grainy video and low audio, but clear as day. "I'll ride for her till the wheels fall off," he says, leaning in. "At one point my heart is there." At the time, people thought it was just brotherly love, but now that everything is coming to light, that line has a different meaning. This is because true love endures, because you can tell. It's serious the way Joe never stops talking. Since Ray is a man of dignity and silence, Papoose reached out to an old journalist friend who had previously covered his court case. This time, however, silence is hurting him more than words, so he asked for clarification rather than a headline or press coverage. "Do you think the world is ready for something that I send you?" He said that's something because the original file found on that iPad was only part 1, and the subsequent file, room 714_fold, may be the entire footage, not just the hotel hallway clip, but what transpired after getting ready. So here we are. The file that shouldn't be there, and its name raised all the red flags. Someone highly familiar with the matter claims that Papoose's heart is in room 714. When a man like Papoose goes silent, it's because the anguish is so great that there is no shouting or screaming, just stillness. The video starts 4 minutes after Remy and Fat Joe enter the hotel suite. All that can be seen are the quiet but clear voices, an unattended room service tray, and a faint light from the hallway camera. Absence of party sounds or music at first. The audio consists solely of mumbles that sound like the stress between two people trying to avoid making a mistake. Then, Joe's voice can be heard asking, "You know what this is?" And Remy says, "It was never meant to get this far." If there was ever any uncertainty or gray area, those 10 words turned everything into black and white. It was something genuine and long hidden. It wasn't an accident or merely business. The world had already begun to move when Papoose allegedly hit pause on the iPad, got up, left the room, and didn't return for hours. He didn't say anything, but someone nobody knew had already leaked the information that Papoose had seen the video. 5 short words were enough to start the avalanche. After Joe's team allegedly went into full lockdown mode, removing clips before they reached 1,000 views, calling platforms and issuing takedowns overnight, hip-hop media started to buzz. Bloggers avoided the edges, speculating that a power couple might be in trouble and a legendary Bronx figure might be at the center, while radio hosts made references to it without naming anyone. Ray made changes to her social media accounts. She removed her most recent narrative post and changed it to "sorry," stopped sharing studio updates, and ceased talking about Black love, just without using hashtags. As the dust settled, fans began uncovering old interviews. In a 2005 video, Joe was seen sitting next to Remy and staring at her while saying, "That's my heart. I'll ride for her till the wheels fall off." That line seemed sweet at the time, but now that everything has been leaked, it seems loaded. Additionally, Papoose's most recent post on his account has not been altered. Loyalty is only real when it's tested. The caption reads, "There are no tags, no location, and no indications of Remy on the page." A podcast recording from nearly a decade ago also surfaced in which a chubby, inebriated Joe joked, "If Remy ever left Papoose, she'd come home where she belongs." Even though everyone called it banter, the crowd laughed. Now it feels more like a confession that nobody took seriously. The real twist came when it was revealed that Papoose had a backup copy of the entire video, which an unnamed producer claimed was sent to a private Dropbox connected to a respectable documentary house. Yes, there are already rumors that a 4-part documentary series called Remy and Joe is in the works. The real story: the industry insiders are already in a panic, because this is no longer a blog post, but is instead becoming permanently streamed material. Another public relations firm reportedly distanced itself from Fat, and a representative of a major brand who had been negotiating with Remy for a hair care line reportedly pulled out of the deal behind the scenes. This wasn't just about business. It was also about legacy, and that legacy was shaken. Teens are searching the internet, talking to attorneys, and giving blank non-disclosure agreements to anyone even remotely involved. Remy Ma was portrayed as the warrior who defeated the system, got back up, and stood tall next to her king, the comeback queen, and Papoose was more than just a rapper. He was a symbol of loyalty, and Fat Joe was the unstoppable Bronx general who helped launch and rebuild careers. All of that has now tarnished the man who waited, the man who forgave, and the man who married Remy while she was incarcerated in a heartbreaking genre. At open mic events, Papoose has apparently relocated into a new apartment in Midtown and has been spotted alone with a notebook, no ring, and no entourage. Joe and Remy have not issued a comment, but rumors have it that he is getting ready for a live performance soon. If that happens, the numbers will skyrocket. But the real question is not whether it happened, but rather how long everyone has been aware of it. The thing that is breaking fans' hearts more than anything else is the fact that this was not a one-time mistake, but rather a long-running secret with a long list of people who helped keep it quiet. If the video was on an old iPad, if emails from more than 10 years ago were found, and if insiders had been chatting about the Puerto Rico yacht night since 2006, then this was a betrayal of all the women who said, "I want to love like Remy," and Pop, and all the fans who stood by their principles, because when a hotel footage file called Room 714 services is leaked, the ensuing silence is never innocent. It's planned, protected, and dangerous. For this reason, every artist who looked up to Fat Joe as a role model for loyalty and mentorship, as well as everyone who believed that perhaps real ones still exist today, is aware that this isn't even close to the end of the story. The question that now permeates everything we've just learned is, was it ever real? Was black love a charade? Has Remy Ma been living a double life all along, protected by loyalty, silence, and the myth of family? Was Fat Joe always more than just a mentor? Because it becomes revelation rather than rumor. When the video leaks, the files are backed up, and the DMs link to the Terror Squad, IPS, but the story is far from over. After Remy's apology, Fat Joe has not yet spoken, and Papoose is sitting there in silence so loud that the entire internet can hear him. Now look at you. Do you think this is a one-time mistake, or has it been happening for years? Did Papoose decide to protect Remy's reputation because he knew all along, or was he really caught off guard? What else is hidden in the unreleased footage? If this disc series is indeed coming out, please share your theories in the comments section, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Trust me, we have only just started to explore this rabbit hole. It could be days before the next leak happens. Get ready.